In a world where everyone is trying to optimize Meta and TikTok ads, there is one platform that I personally think is extremely undervalued and underrated. That platform to advertise on is Snapchat ads. Lately, Snapchat has been making a large push in terms of investment with their stories and their spotlights, and they're paying creators a lot of money to post on there. They're obviously trying to grab a lot of attention and eyeballs, and it's working because they're paying these creators so much to create content on there. Now, what's fantastic about Snapchat versus Meta or TikTok is that the CPMs and the cost per purchase can be extremely low. There's less competition of companies advertising on there, which gives you more space to bid lower on these campaigns. And Snapchat can convert very well if you've got the right ad strategy and the ads on the platform. Now, obviously, before going into that, Snapchat is a different platform than TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. The most popular demographic of people on Snapchat are aged 15 to 25. They make up 48% of Snapchat users. That doesn't mean that there's people above this age on the platform. There definitely are, but definitely keep this in mind because it depends on what product you're advertising. It might work better on Snapchat or worse on Snapchat, depending on the age group that you're trying to target. What's also great about this age group of 15 to 25 is that a lot of them have disposable income. A lot of them are college students or high school students that have a job, but not that many responsibilities or bills, therefore they can spend more money online. Now, this is a complete beginner's guide video. I'm going to go through my personal Snapchat ad strategy. It works at any budget level. You can be spending $5 or $500 a day. It's extremely simple to set up. It's very straightforward. And if you're following along step by step, you will have a campaign set up by the end of this video. I'm going to cover everything. We're going to be setting up the pixel together. We're going to walk through the ad strategy and what everything means on the platform. All right, before we get to the full strategy, if you are interested in dropshipping and e-commerce, make sure to grab a free custom store built by my software, thanks to my partnership with Shopify, and I'll send you 35 course videos on top of that. You pretty much get everything that you need to get started today, and the store build only takes less than 12 minutes. So make sure to take advantage of that if that interests you. Big shout out to Shopify for sponsoring that. I'll have a link down below in the description. First, let's look at some campaigns that I was running on a daily budget of $50 and gave me some great results. You can see here the top spend on this campaign specifically was $663, 144 purchases recorded on this campaign. That puts the cost per purchase at $4.61. And you can see they trickle down here anywhere between $5, $6, $7, and one at $13. So that cost per purchase is pretty hard to get on Meta or TikTok, which is why I think Snapchat is extremely underrated. There's just not that many people advertising on there, therefore you get these lower bids. And again, these campaigns are ran with this simple strategy that I am using and about to show you. All right, so let's go right into it. You guys can follow along step by step if you'd like. I think that's the easiest way to do it. The only thing that you need for this setup is obviously your creatives, right? So on Snapchat, you want to have creatives that look native to the platform. So if you don't really use Snapchat, I recommend downloading it and taking a look at what kind of content is posted on there. Now, the content's a little bit different than Facebook or Instagram where you can post images, and the audience is a little bit older in age typically. So some of the same advertisements don't really transition to Snapchat too well. Maybe if you're using Reels or TikTok, they would transfer over. But I want you guys to keep that in mind that you need to have creatives that look native to the platform and they look like they're supposed to be on Snapchat, not just some random slideshow or just a picture. It just doesn't look as good on Snapchat, and it's pretty obvious that it's an ad. So this is the ads manager on Snapchat. It looks very similar to Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. They're all kind of set up the same way. And if you don't have a business Snapchat account yet, all you have to do is type in business for Snapchat on Google, sign up. You can use your current Snapchat account. It doesn't even have to be a business one specifically for your brand or whatever. And it doesn't really matter because you're changing actually the title of where it's sponsored or who it's sponsored from. So it's not going to come from like Austin Rabin's personal Snapchat. It'll have a different title and headline. But once you're in here, this is the back end here. So the first thing that we want to do is go into manage ads here and then create ads. Now there's two ways to actually set this up. You can do an instant create and an advanced create. Most platforms kind of have this nowadays. It's really basically saying, do you want the easy way to set up the ads or do you want to take everything into full control yourself? I personally like to take everything in full control for myself because I like to make the adjustments myself. And it just seems to work out a bit better if you've got skills in marketing and ad creatives and you've been selling online for a long time. So now we're going to go into advanced create here. So our campaign structure is going to look like this. You can see on the left side, there's the campaign level. Below that is the ad set level. The ad set level is where you do all the targeting, the age, the location, things like that. We're actually going to have two ad sets in the campaign. And then below that, we're going to have an ad creative in each of those. Now for this example, I'm just doing two ad creatives, but it's really best to use three. So how the strategy would look would be campaign, ad set, ad set, ad set, and then a creative underneath ad set 1, creative underneath ad set 2, creative underneath ad set 3. And what I really recommend doing when you're creating those three creatives to run against each other and test against each each other is separating the marketing angles, right? So you want one creative with a specific marketing angle, another with a different marketing angle, and then a third one with a different marketing angle. That's really the only thing that you want to start testing right in the beginning for your products. You want to learn what is the best way to position those products. And if you don't know what a marketing angle is, it's a way to position your product to hit a different demographic of audience within a sub niche of audience, right? And so that might sound a little complicated. I'll give you a great example right now of how powerful marketing angles are, and they can just change the product completely. So this is Zima Dental. It's a great example of a marketing angle. The product that they're selling is a jewelry cleaner. So it's the ultrasonic cleaner that you put your watches in, your jewelry in, and it shakes all the dirt off, right? Their marketing angle is saying, hey, let's take this product and let's slap on the marketing angle that this product is for retainers specifically. Now it completely changes the product. It's no longer a jewelry cleaner, it's a retainer cleaner, all because of a marketing angle. And that's why they're doing so well. And on top of that, they're selling Alka-Seltzer tablets or whatever to help you clean on a subscription basis. It's a great example of a marketing angle, great example of a brand. And I really like using this as a marketing angle example. But just to make sure you guys are clear, you want to come up with 3 different marketing angles to test against each other via the creative. All right, so once we've got all that set up, and if you don't have your videos yet, don't worry, you're still going to learn a lot in this video and how to set up the campaign and strategy. Or if you're saying I don't want to use marketing angles, I have 3 creatives I want to test against each other, that's fine. This is just my personal strategy. So we need to build our campaign. There's obviously options for awareness, consideration, and conversions, right? So awareness and consideration are exactly that. Every platform is the same in terms of social media advertising with this. If you want awareness for your brand, you're going to get a lot of eyeballs on it, but not a lot of conversions. Same with consideration. Drive traffic to your website. That's what you're telling the algorithm on Snapchat to look for. People that just go to your website but don't make a purchase. We don't want that. If you're running an e-com brand or a drop shipping store, you want to run for conversions. You want people to go on your website and purchase from you. Yes, they're more expensive, but your conversion rate is 100 times higher than people that are just viewing your website. So for the objective today, we're going to be using website conversions. That's the one I recommend. This is a brand new ad account for an example. So it's asking me to set up my Snap Pixel. You're probably going to run into this too if you've never ran Snapchat ads before. I'm going to show you how to set up the pixel. It's super easy, but we're going to get into that when we actually need to on the ad set level. So now we go down here to our campaign setup. This is where you just change the name of your campaign. So you could say like, I'm running ice roller campaign, right? That's the product I'm selling. Label it whatever you want, but just make sure you can remember, because for example, I have got 4,300 campaign lines on Meta right now, and that's a lot of campaigns. So if I don't label them correctly, I don't remember which one worked, which one I tested, did I already try that? And it just gets a little confusing. So make sure to name them correctly in things that you would remember, like ice roller campaign, 3 marketing angle test, and then maybe something about the demographic of audience, like 18 plus, right? US only. Just put something in there that it's gonna allow you to actually remember it. All right, for the status, we're gonna want it to run active unless you don't want the campaign to run, maybe save it for later or whatever, but we're gonna run it as active because we wanna load our campaign and then actually have it start spending money and generating conversions, right? So dynamic ads is for if you want to build them with a product catalog. We don't wanna do that. We're selling the same product. We're just doing a 1 product example here to advertise. So we're gonna leave that off. We don't need to create a split test right now. We're kind of manually doing that with this strategy. So that's just like an A/B test essentially. Right now, we don't need to do it because we're only testing one thing, which is the marketing angles. So start and end time is pretty obvious. It is when you wanna start the campaign time-wise. So I like to just start them immediately. Unless it's late in the day, then I usually put them for 12 a.m. the next day, because sometimes if you do it late in the day, the spend will really accelerate. Let's say your budget was $100 a day, and if you run it at 10 o'clock at night, it's going to try to spend that $100 in those 2 hours. And sometimes it just doesn't get the best results, and it's kind of a waste of money. So if it's later in the day, just put the start time for the next day. Setting an end date is up to you. Obviously, if you have like a Labor Day sale or something like that, and you want it to end at a specific date, totally fine. Just for this though, we're going to go pretty broad here, and we don't really need to do that. Daily spend cap. If you don't want to spend over a certain amount, you put this in here. You say my budget cap is $100 a day. You can throw that in here. Lifetime spend cap, same thing, but for lifetime, right, of the campaign. $500 is the cap I want to spend on this campaign, or my budget to test. You would throw that in here. We're going to leave these blank because I like to just run them until they don't work anymore. So for me personally, there's no reason to have a spend cap on either of those. That's all we need to do on the campaign level. So now we're just going to hit next, and it's going to bring us down to the ad set level. Now remember, for this strategy, we're going to be using either 2 to 3 ad set levels. We'll just do 3 as the example, honestly. It'll be a little bit easier, but we're going to keep everything the same in all of the ad sets. So we're not changing any of those variables. We're only testing the marketing angles in the beginning. So what we're gonna do is fill out this form completely, keep it the same, duplicate it 2 times, and then change the ad creatives underneath each of those. But for now, we need to fill this out and get it ready to roll. So the ad set name, you could obviously change it to whatever you want. We're gonna do US only, 18 plus, let's say marketing angle 1, just same as the campaign name. It doesn't really affect anything. It doesn't show it to the customer. It's just for you on the back end to keep track. Now we obviously want our Snap Pixel to be attached to our store and our campaign. If you don't know what a pixel is, it's basically a line of code that tracks consumers' data when they go on your website. And that data gets sent back to whatever advertising platform you're using. And that's what allows it to attribute the conversions, the clicks, all that stuff. And if you don't have one set up, it's gonna be really, really hard to scale your campaigns. It's also gonna be really, really hard to know if they're working or not. And so let's actually go through this right now and I'll show you how easy it is to set up. So we're gonna click Setup Pixel. Now we're gonna type in our site URL and then we're just gonna hit check, and it takes about 30 seconds for the pixel to check your website to make sure it's compatible. So now it's gonna say set up web events. You can do Conversion API or Snap Pixel. Snap Pixel is recommended. It's better than Conversion API and it allows you to track more and more accurately. And what's actually pretty interesting about Snapchat ads is that I found them actually a lot more accurate tracking wise than Meta and TikTok. So that's just a little fun fact. They're pretty good at attribution. So you're gonna use Snap Pixel and then hit next. Now we're gonna do a partner integration. This totally depends on what platform you're using. I would assume most of you guys are using Shopify. So for the partner integration, they make it a lot easier on Shopify. See, there's recommendations right here of which ones they actually have partner integrations with. So we're gonna use Shopify for this one. Click on it. Now it's gonna take you to the Shopify App Store. Obviously you need to log into your Shopify account to link this pixel. So make sure you're logged into the correct account and then you're gonna hit install. Now it's gonna go to the install app section on your Shopify store. Just hit install. Now it's gonna install on your Shopify store. So you can see on the left side, Snapchat ads is installed. Now it says get started with Snapchat ads. Click start setup, connect your Snapchat account, the same one that you use to log into the ad manager that we were just on. Then it's gonna say connect to Shopify and hit continue. Now it's gonna take you back to the app. It's gonna sync everything up for you. And now you can see your Snapchat account is added on right here. And then under the business settings, you can change whatever you want here based on where the ads are gonna be posted from, which business account, the account that you're gonna use for your billing. And then ads will target primarily in what country? So United States, that's what we're gonna be using. So we're gonna click accept and save. And then it says ads will use the following payment methods, which is credit card. That's because my credit card is already set up on my Snapchat account. If you haven't done that yet, it'll ask you to put in your credit card there for paying for the ads. And you can sync your catalog information here, basically syncing your catalog of products on your Shopify store onto Snapchat. That way you can use that dynamic feature that we talked about earlier. I'm not gonna be doing that right now. You can if you'd like to. And then now we're gonna scroll all the way back up and go to data sharing. So your pixel ID should be populated in here. And if it doesn't say that, then just click create one. And then your pixel number will show up here installed onto your Shopify app store. And then you're good to go. All right, so going back to the campaign, now that our Snap Pixel is fully set up, we're gonna scroll down here past Snap ID tracking because we're not doing that. Now we're gonna go down to the budget and schedule. So this is totally up to you. This strategy works with any budget level. You can be running $5 a day. You can be running $500 a day. I do want you to keep in mind the only difference between $5 and $500 is how much data you're gonna receive back. Obviously with $500, you're gonna get a lot of people visiting your website. With $5, it's gonna trickle out slowly throughout the day. So just keep that in mind. It works with any budget, but the smaller budget you have, the longer you have to wait to get the data to make an actual educated decision. And a lot of people ask me how much to spend per day. And I think a good rule of thumb is spending 3 to 5 times your average order value, right? So if you're selling a product for $50, your campaign should spend at least $150 up to $250 to get enough data back. Then once you get that data back, you can say, hey, this ad campaign worked or didn't work, or this angle's better, this one's not better. It's just a fair amount of spend, and you kind of want to spread that over 7 days. So for example, if your product is $50 and you're aiming to spend $150, that's like your low end budget. You kind of want to spend it over 7 days because maybe more people will purchase on Monday versus Saturday. You just don't know that cyclical cycle yet. So you want to actually just let it go through the full week to give it a fair try. So what we'd want to do to spend around $150 for the week, we'd want to do a budget of around $10 or so, right? Because we're doing a budget per ad set level and we're going to have 3 ad set levels. So we're going to have $10 a budget per ad set, 3 total. So we'll be spending $30 a day. Over 7 days is $210. So that's a good rule of thumb to go by for your budget. Again, it's just time to receive your data is based on your budget. How small it is, longer the time, how big your budget is, quicker the time. But for this example, we're just gonna go with $10 here. So now we're gonna go down to our goal. So our goal is either clicks, story opens, landing page views, or website conversions. We want our goal to be website conversions. But if you are a brand new account, like I'm setting up this brand new account right now, website conversions won't work because they haven't received enough data from the pixel yet. So the next thing that we wanna do for the goal would be clicks. After you collect enough clicks, you'll be able to do website conversions later on. But for now, we just have to do clicks. Our campaign objective is still website website conversions, but our goal is clicks. So I'd recommend running some smaller click campaigns, and then this will actually pop up and allow you to choose website conversions as the goal next time. But let's just pretend here we're running the conversion campaign. We would want website conversions. Now for the bid, we want to do auto bid. Like I was talking about earlier, there's less advertisers on Snapchat. It's cheaper in terms of bidding. So we want to do auto bid. We don't want to do target cost or max bid. I really like to have auto bid and let the creative speak for itself, meaning that it's good quality. People are clicking on it. You're going to get lower bids. So we always want to choose auto bid. Now for placements, you can change any of the placements on Snapchat that you want. I recommend doing automatic placement, but just as an example, you can choose where the content is going to be shown, aka your ad creative. You can do it between content, just on stories, just on spotlight, within content, all of that stuff, right? But in the beginning for the strategy, we don't really care about that because we don't know where the highest conversions are coming from. Maybe it is between stories, but we don't know that yet. That's why we need that data to come back so we can actually analyze it. So for the strategy, we're going to do automatic placement. Now the brand safety filter is for, depends how big your brand is, right? It basically says, do you want your ads to be shown anywhere or content that is essentially kid friendly, basically? I like to do full inventory. I don't think it really matters. I'm not running ads for like Nike. Maybe you are watching this video and maybe you'd care about that, but I don't. So I'm going to do full inventory. Now locations, this is where you can change the targeting of your audience, right? So if you're trying to sell only in the United States, you just leave at US. You can add in Canada here or other countries. Totally up to you and your brand and who you're trying to sell to, right? But for this strategy, I'm going to keep it simple at the United States. Demographics, again, pretty much up to you. Depending on the product, but I usually like to do 18 plus. But if it's a product that I'm selling that like 16-year-olds might be interested, if it's like a beauty product or they're starting to get into beauty and stuff like that, then maybe I would lower it down to 16. Genders, obviously, if you want to target male or female, depends on your product again. Languages, if you're choosing foreign countries here that speak a different language besides English, then I would probably want to put in English in here, right? Unless your ads are catered to that specific native language, but usually they're not. So I would just choose English here if you were running outside the US. I'm not, so I don't need to do that. Advanced demographics is where you can choose the household income, obviously estimation of what they're making. If you're selling like a luxury product, maybe you want to do this high number. I don't really mess around with this. I just let it go open. Now, these predefined audiences are the same thing as like interest targeting on Facebook. And it's 2024, iOS update, long story. You want to go broad. You want to let Snapchat's algorithm decide where to send your traffic. They're getting really smart. They're better at it based on the privacy stuff. I like to leave these open. Everyone right now is pretty much going broad. Now, custom audiences, this is where you do like lookalike audiences or people that have visited your website in the past. This is not even applicable because our pixel is brand new. But once you get enough data and customers on your website, you can start doing retargeting campaigns, and you could do that here if you'd like. But this is a broad general campaign, so we're not going to be doing that. Now moving on to devices, leave these all open. You want iOS, Android, or web, unless you have a really specific reason. Nothing here you really need to change. Delivery status is active, and that's all we need to do. So our ad set level is already set up. That's how easy it is. So again, we wanted to do 3 different ad sets and 3 different creatives underneath, spending $10 a day each. So what we need to do is go on the left side here, click on the 3 dots, duplicate the ad set, and we're going to do it one more time. So now we have 3 of the exact same ad sets that we just set up, right? The only difference is the creative underneath each of them. Now, what I would do to keep track of everything, I would change this from copy of to marketing angle 2. And then the third one, I would do the same thing and say marketing angle 3. That way you just know which angle is under each when you're looking at the campaign, the results. And you're probably asking yourself, why are you doing 3 different ad sets with 1 creative underneath each, right? Well, it's because it's giving it a fair test. 3 ad sets have a budget of $10, so that $10 has to go to that creative. And that creative is different than creative 2 and 3. If we had all the creatives under 1 ad set, it would take the budget of $10 and split it between the 3. And it would do that in a way however Snapchat sees fit. And I don't want to do that. I want to test the creatives strictly, and I want them to each get $10 a day, so it's a fair test. So now let's move on to the ad creative level. So the ad creative level on marketing angle 1. From here, you can do single image or video, story ads, collection ads, AR ads, all this stuff, right? We're gonna be doing single image or video. So here you can name your ad, same thing, would be marketing angle 1. You can create a public profile on Snapchat if you'd like to. It would house all of your unique content and kind of create like a business profile in a way for your Snapchat. You don't have to do that. You can if you'd like to. Now for the brand name, let's call it Ice Roller. So that's what I meant about when you're setting up your business account. It'll come, you can see on the right side, it'll show up as Ice Roller as the sponsor of this. It won't show up as Austin Rabin, right? Even though I'm on a personal business account. That's why that doesn't necessarily matter. You can change your brand name to whatever you want. Obviously, I'd represent your brand accordingly. Now the headline is basically like the description. It's towards the bottom here where you can see what it says Ice Roller. So here you kind of want to have like the marketing angle with like a snappy hook, right? Like you want some good copy there that if they do look down at the bottom and they want to learn more and they were going to read it for some reason, which most people don't, then you would want something like snappy hook to kind of convince them to click post, right? So let me just grab one real quick from Dropbot. This is where I get all of my generative ideas for marketing. Facial ice roller. And let's say our angle was to smooth out wrinkles. Right? That's the benefit of it. So I want like something snappy or small, maybe like a skimmable header for the website would be kind of something that I want to do, or a unique selling proposition or a marketing angle. So I'm going to click off those and hit generate. And if you want to try out Dropbot, I'll have a link down below in the description too. Very, very powerful tool. All right. So our marketing angles are wake up with a fresh face every morning, instantly reduce puffiness for a fresh look. I like this one, so that's nice. We're gonna explore further on it and see if it comes up with anything different. It is Snapchat, so I might wanna do more casual. I think I'm just gonna take the first actually sentence from this, or the first little thing. Say goodbye to puffy eyes. Let's copy that and put it in the headline here. So it just says, say goodbye to puffy eyes. That's good enough, it's a good example. That's where it's gonna show up at the bottom there. Now the next option is if it's shareable. Do you want other Snapchatters to share this with other people? The answer is yes. Obviously you get more free traffic if people are sharing your advertisement. So we're gonna leave that on, and then we're gonna go down to the media. This is where you upload the media or the creative onto Snapchat. So here I'm gonna upload the ice roller video that I'm using as an example. You guys like my fancy cup? We got my pink shirt going on and also this Starbucks crystal cup. So here it's gonna give you the preview of what it's gonna look like on Snapchat. You basically just wanna make sure all of the text isn't covered and it looks good, looks native to the platform, but just give me a preview of what it's gonna look like. So we put that one on here. Now next is the call to action. If you're doing e-commerce and you're selling a product, you kind of want to do just shop now. It's kind of the best one. You don't really want to say anything else like, you know, pre-register or play game. Like it just doesn't make sense. Shop now is just the best in my opinion. So we're going to leave the call to action as shop now. And then you can switch the standard button color, totally up to you. It would change the color of the button. Based on your ad though. So I would just do disabled and just keep it the normal Snapchat one, making it look the most native to the platform. Then you're just gonna plug into your website URL, right? So you'd be like myshopifystore.com/product/ice roller. When they click on the shop now, that's the exact link that they're gonna go to, right? So you don't wanna send them to your homepage. You don't wanna send them to the privacy policy page. You wanna send them to the exact product page, right? You don't wanna send them to the homepage because if they go to the homepage, they're gonna have to look around for that product that they just saw an advertisement for. It adds more of a friction point and is just not good to do. You definitely get a lower conversion rate. Okay, so you just plug in the website URL, smart prefetching. We don't need to do this. We'll load faster, but you have to make sure your website's ready. So I'm not gonna like recommend it for everyone. So I'm gonna leave that as disabled. Delivery status is active, impression trackers, click trackers, and add another. So this is like just additional type of ways to track more data essentially, but we've already got the pixel installed, so we don't have to worry about that. So now we've got the creative all set up. And if you just want to make sure again for the placement preview, you can see Spotlight or Stories, what it's going to look like, and just make sure everything fits and looks normal. Now on the left side here, that was marketing angle 1. So that one is done, that ad set and marketing angle. Now we need to do the same thing for the creative 2 and 3, right? So I'd label this marketing angle 2. I'd choose the same brand name, which is ice roller. I think I put different headline because it'd be a different marketing angle, right? So I'd go back here and it's like, oh, if that one was for smoothing out wrinkles, now this one is to help with acne. I'd put that in the emphasis there and then regenerate some ideas and then grab another headline from there. So like get clear skin fast, goodbye acne. There we go. Or actually I like this one better. Goodbye acne, hello happy face. That's a good little tag there. Let's copy that, plug it in here, upload our second creative, which would be this one. This one is the one that represents acne and how it helps clear up acne. Uploads the video. We're gonna scroll down while it's doing that. Go to shop now, put the exact same URL as you put before. And then boom, you are done with that one as well. And then you do the exact same thing, obviously for marketing angle 3 with a third advertisement. And then once you finish your third one, I'm not gonna do it because you guys just saw me do it twice. But once you finish out your third one, then you are done. We set up the campaign. That's all we had to do. So then you would hit review and publish, and then it publishes the campaign. It takes me personally, it takes about 20 minutes to review the ad, but it can be up to like 24 or 48 hours. But for me, it's about 20 minutes and the ad starts running. And then you actually start seeing traffic go from the ad to your website. So that's exactly how you'd set it up. And just to reiterate the strategy here, it's very, very simple setup, but it works wonders, right? So it's just one campaign level, 3 ad set levels, different marketing angles under each, but the same demographic. And then under those is the 3 different ad creatives that represent those marketing angles accordingly. Now let's pretend it's a week later. How we'd review the ads would be, we'd look at something like this, and let's say this one, and this one were all 3 different marketing angles that we did. And they all spent spent 320 bucks. I would come over and look and say, wow, the cost per purchase on marketing angle 1 is $4.61. That's over $2 lower than marketing angle 2. I think more people are interested in marketing angle 1 than 2. More people clicked and more people converted. And let's just pretend this number was extremely high, like 15 bucks and $25 for these 3 top ones. And this one's remained at $4.61. That would be very obvious. Marketing angle 1 resonated with the most people. So if it's profitable and you want to continue to running this angle, there's a couple things I'd do to scale it up. The first thing I'd do is just hit clone. And if you hit clone, it'll duplicate that exact same ad set level in creative that you just used and just place a second one there, basically just duplicating it. And so then you'd have one that's running for $10 a day and another one that's running for $10 a day. Now you've doubled your spend. Or another way that you can scale it up is create a new ad set, keep everything the same, one campaign, one ad set level with the same interest that you just had on this campaign, and then the same ad creative with the same copy and everything. That will just create a new campaign with just strictly that ad running, and you can put the budget out whatever you want. So you could say 100 bucks now a day is what I want to run. I want to scale it up quickly. That's one way that you can scale it up, but there's a couple things on the back end if you're running a successful campaign that you want to keep in mind. One is that you should never stop testing. So you can duplicate that all you want and scale it up to $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 a day in ad spend. And if you're profitable, great. But at some point, those ads will fatigue. Ad fatigue is very real. After a couple weeks or a month, the profitability is going to start to dwindle and you need new creatives. So even though you have a campaign that's running successfully, you always want to continue to test on the back end, right? Maybe you want to test different hooks. Maybe you want to test different creatives in that marketing angle, just a different first scene, or maybe a different font, maybe a different AI voice that you're using for your ad. You always want to be testing to just make sure you've got something ready to roll next time. And you never know, that test that you just did might actually perform better than the original. So you always want to be testing. You don't want to be complacent, because I've seen so many people scale up a store very quickly and then just got super complacent to go on vacation, do whatever. And then all of a sudden their ads come crashing down and they have nothing prepared. And then they lost their income for the next couple weeks until they figure it out. So you always want to be testing, always improving. Now, another thing that you want to do while you're scaling, remember in the beginning, we tested 3 angles against each other. And the one that was acne, let's pretend the first one's acne, was the best performing one. People really liked that angle of this solves acne. Now your Shopify website is probably really basic with just the normal features, promoting the product, not really catered for that marketing angle specifically. So now what you'd want to do is, hey, that's the marketing angle that won. Let's actually redesign the website to emphasize that marketing angle. Well, what that means is just going on your website and now changing all of the copy and the layout to, use the pass method, right? So pain, agitate, solve for that specific angle of acne, right? Instead of just listing the features of your product, now you're gonna say, acne is terrible, blah, blah, blah. Look how bad it is, look at this. Here's my solution, right? It's our product. I think that's really important when people scale. I don't think a lot of people do that, especially if you're like a beginner or you just started an e-commerce store. A lot of people just say, oh, I've got a profitable ad, let's just scale as high as I can. But they don't actually realize they could be really optimizing their website for that angle and even get more conversions. So that's my current Snapchat ad strategy. It's very simple to do. There's really not that much technique or any craziness to it. Anyone can follow along in this strategy. And the best part is it works. Sometimes the things in advertising that are the most simple are the most profitable. And I'll cover one more thing. And you're probably saying, what if your ads are not profitable? What if all of them were just terrible and no one purchased from you? You're back to the drawing board. New creatives, new angles, repeat the process. That's all you have to do over and over again until something clicks and something works. Always make improvements. Me personally, it took 3.5 months of breaking even, testing different angles and ads before I turned profitable. Sometimes it does take a while, but take the guesswork out of it and just use this strategy to set it up. It works, it's simple, and it's straightforward. All right, guys, I hope you liked this video. I hope it explained Snapchat ads and actually how to set them up from scratch with a very simple strategy that all of you guys can follow along with. If you want to learn more about Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, e-commerce in general, it's all on my YouTube channel. I've got a ton of guides on there. And don't forget, if you want to grab that free course in store, I'll have a link down below in the description. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you guys next time.